With that, we move ahead to the third segment of our today's session. That's the panel discussion. So before I would start the panel discussion, let me just state few things about it. The first thing, we have a lot of time in our hands, so I would like the panelists to speak for 3 minutes. A little change in the timing, so we can have 3 minutes. We can hear more from DTMs. It would be lovely. And then the rule goes as such. First, I'll be introducing the panelists and then the topic, and then they will be discussing about the topic. I'll be summarizing it, and then the audience can ask any questions related to the discussion that is taking place. You can even type your questions during the discussions as well in the chat box. Please do not unmute yourself and ask during the discussions. We can take up the questions at the end. I hope I'm clear, and each panelist will be given 3 minutes. With that, let's today's panel discussion. Zoomaster, can you spotlight the three panelists, DTM Sriraman, DTM Saiju Victor, the timer, and myself, and Toastmaster Abhishek? Thank you so much. Timer all ready? All set? Once again, good evening, dear Galaxians. Today, we are going to have an interesting session. That's the panel discussion. It's going to happen for the first time in our club. So, what's this panel discussion all about? You must have seen the agenda. I hope so. And so, it talks about the speechcraft. We had so many sessions about speechcraft. We had education session held by our very own DTM Saiju, who had so well narrated to us what it is, what we should do, what we should not do, what to follow, what not to follow. So then why again discussion? Well, during this whole contest, there were so many questions popping up in my mind. And there was one such question that is repeatedly coming to me. That is, what is more important in for a Toastmaster? Is it how to write the speech or how to deliver the speech? What is more important, the writing part or the delivery part? So I want to put forth this question to the most able panelist over here. Before I would ask them this question, let me introduce you once again to these eminent and handsome gentlemen, the panelists over here. Let me begin with Toastmaster, our DTM, Sri Raman K. Vadyar, who is our Division G Director, and he's an avid book reader. I call him the universal mentor, and he wonders why, because he's got a vast knowledge about so many things. He's been mentoring so many people, so many Toastmasters. That's the reason why I call you the universal mentor. Welcome, sir. Next is our DTM Saiju Victor. We all Galaxy know him so well because he's been our mentor, he's been our guideline, he's been guiding us throughout the contest, as DTM Sriraman is also doing it with us. And he has actually crafted us and helped us how to do these table topics, the evaluations. And I'm sure you must be very happy with our contest results that we have showcased. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Next is our very own VP, Toastmaster Abhishek Kokate. He has he has been a representative in DTAC for consistently 2 years, and there's so much to ask him. So that's the reason why I have put him in this panel. Welcome. So let's begin. Are we all ready? Okay, so here goes the first question to our DTM Sriraman sir. Sir, you have contested in so many, you have been a participant in so many contests. You have guided so many people, and you have been judge also. But I would like to know, what was your first impression? The first ever time you been a contestant, and you after you delivered your speech, what did you feel? What was more important? Was the delivery part or was it the writing of the content of the speech.
First of all, thank you very much for including me in this panel of esteemed people, esteemed Toastmasters members. For me, the most difficult part always has been crafting a speech. Because as someone who specialized in table topic speeches, I had a lot of ideas running through my mind, but putting them together, reining them in and putting them together into a structure has always been a problem. I believe if you're able to structure your ideas together, put them together into the 4 S's, short, simple, and sincere. There are 4 S's that I can't remember offhand, but I can tell you. Sincere, short, simple, and okay, let me get to that later. If you're able to do that, then you're able to communicate rather well to the audience, and the audience is able to grasp your message a lot more easier than otherwise. So the 4th strength I certainly remembered was the 4th S was the strength. You need to have a strong message, strong contents to get the message across. But my experience was that more into experimentation. So I was never satisfied with repeating a speech, whereas champions have become what they have become by repeating their speeches. And that I realized after giving my speeches and failing spectacularly in area contests. So I had a very emotional speech in my club contest, which got me through to the area contest. And then I changed completely the subject that was totally irrelevant to the audience. And because I did not have conviction in the topic, I could not come up with a great speech. I could not convince myself. Now, if you can't convince yourself, you cannot forget about convincing the audience. You can only dream about convincing the audience. So for me, crafting, getting to the core of what you want to tell the people and working around that, crafting, making it simple, short, strong, is what gets the message across to the people, the members of the audience. And that has been my challenge. So I want to end before I get the red signal here. Over to the panel moderator.
Thank you, DTM. DTM Saiju, the same question goes to you. When you started as a contestant, so what was that thought? Whether this speech writing is important or the delivery part was important?
For me, a speech is like building a house. We all, when you dream of building a house, we have a definite plan. And the plan, maybe we will have the most outstanding plan. But there are certain other things which are very, very relevant to that. Do you have the resources? For example, in my hometown, it would be very advisable to go for a chiseled stones, that muddy stones. So in a place like Ooty, you will see houses which are built on rocks. That would be the most appropriate. So like that, there are certain resources available with us. Your dream, your outline would be something else. But if you are able to fix them on that, your available resources on that perfectly, that would bring the best results. Those houses will stand out. For me, what I believe is that 40% is your plan and 60% is how you are going to put those resources in place, how you are going to deliver your speech. And in simple terms, if you have a decently good speech, and then once that structure is through, it is there in your mind, you will have to start working on the delivery. Because for sure, whoever has built a house will come to know that you will have an outstanding plan, but by the time when you do it, when you try to start the construction, the plan will keep on changing. So don't wait for the perfect plan to be there. Give 40% weightage to your script, and the remaining 60% should be on your delivery. Because at the end of the day, The delivery is what is going to take you to places. 100 people will write outstanding speeches, but those who deliver differently or those who touches your heart will be the winners. So I would like to compare a speech with a house. Build it from your heart, use all your best resources, and it will surely win the hearts of others. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Saiju. Next is our Toastmaster Abhishek. So what's your opinion about this? When you started as a first speaker, and what did you think about it?
Thank you so much, first of all. Thank you so much. It is a great honor to share a stage with DTM Sriraman and DTM Saiju. Both are my teachers. So it's an honor to express my opinion. It's my humble opinion. I'm very young in Toastmasters. Now, delivery came to me very naturally because I have been in elocution right from my school days, college days. I didn't really care at all about writing a well-structured speech, including my entire first year in Toastmasters. I really care. If VP calls me at now, in next 1 hour, I'm ready to go and talk about. Now that I thought it's enough, we can do it because projects get through. But one fine day, when I forgot my speech, I realized the importance of writing a speech. So generally speakers prepare in two ways. Some people record their speech and they type it out, but they do type it out and they structure it accordingly. Some people write it, structure it, and somehow they have gained the confidence of memorizing in a way and they can come and deliver. After forgetting my speech, only I realized that writing is a very important tool. Whether you write it with your pen and handwriting or you type it, you need to write it. So in my opinion, it is a structure of your speech. To me, if you ask me personally, it's more important. Delivery, you can practice over a period of time because I have seen certain speakers, they really don't move their hands, gestures much. Example, Jaggi Vasudev. I think he's one of the finest speakers we have. So he just sits and he just delivers. But the structure of his content, just a moment, guys, I have a cat here. The structure of this, the whole talk really defines the key. So if you ask me delivery, yes, but I will still rate structure high by writing the speeches. So this year, after the area speech, after the club speeches were done, I started to focusing more about on writing part. And it's really not an easy task. It's not easy because you come up and you grind and change and change and change. Finally, even before delivering 2 hours before the contest, you still feel, can I tweak a bit? So I would say it's 80% of your time can literally go on writing your speech. And 20% of time, because we are practicing every week, somehow to Toastmasters, I think this comes very naturally in delivery. It'll come naturally. So I rate high on writing and content. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek. So to sum up this question, I would say that DTM Sriraman, he mentioned that crafting is more important. You should pay more attention to the crafting part of it, to keep it short, simple, and sincere. So, and it was again supported by Toastmaster Abhishek, who said, yeah, 80% of writing is very important. 20% delivery is given. That's what he has given for the delivery part of it. Whereas DTM Saiju, he has mentioned that 40% of the plan, the foundation, the basement is important. That is the writing part. And then 60% of the delivery, the construction. Right, sir? So that summarizes for this question. But let's have one more question, one more round of question. And that is, DTM Sriraman sir, I would again like to start from you. When you write a speech, how do you start it? Like you have an idea and then you think about the story, or you already have a story, then you think about putting an idea or a message into it and then making it convincible. How do you how do you frame the speeches?
Well, you asked me for my idea, I can give you my idea because it need not fit into other people's ideas because I've never won a speech contest beyond area level, I have no progress. So it might not work for others. But like I said about changing the draft, I like to be as original as possible. When I say this, I know you can always counter me saying that there is nothing called original in this world. We are all inspired by someone, we take inspiration from something, we keep borrowing. but as original as you can think is coming from a wide base of knowledge around you. So when I sit and think about giving a speech, it'll be an idea generally, because I believe I have a responsibility towards, at this stage of my life, I have a responsibility towards the society to give something to them that can change their perspective or change their thinking. So at this stage of my life, this is what I focus on. When I started my Toastmasters journey, I wanted to tell people everything around in the world. So my speeches were the power of music, how students or children are teaching us, students are teachers, about the mother of all mothers, Mother Teresa. I wanted to cover everything under the universe. So that's how I got into a lot of research. So what happens is when you start on, if you go into research mode, like you all are doing now at this stage of your Toastmaster journey, you tend to get into a lot of wide base of knowledge from various sources. It could be books, it could be talks, it could be net, anywhere you can lay your hands on. I keep telling people that most of my knowledge base came from a sports writer called Prem Panikar, because whenever he wrote, he used to provide links for many things. That led to one of his articles led to an article by Amit Verma on the difference between choking and panicking. And that led to my inquisitiveness towards behavioral science a lot more. So now I have started liking that. So it makes it easy for me to talk about those things than about finance or HR practices per se. So once you're convinced that this is the track you're going to follow on, you keep that idea on, you will get a lot of material. Now, like I've heard a lot of people like Abhishek speak about the power of habit and all. Those come from, you're trying to extrapolate the ideas that you get from various sources, be it books or nets or physical books or talks from various people. Abhishek mentioned Jaggi Vasudev. You get an idea. One of the persons who gives me a lot of ideas on behavioral sciences, I don't know if I'm getting his pronunciation correct, somebody called Mahathir, who speaks in English, but in Tamil forums. That guy is an absolute wealth when it comes to behavioral science. So for me, it's an idea that I'm trying to sell, not a story. A story can accompany that idea to support the idea. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Sriraman. DTM Saiju, what's your opinion about it?
To me, there are three kinds of speeches which can be written. One is that you are trying to impress. You know what is the formula, what is running in international speech contest, what will go, how people are speaking, what kind of speeches. Second is that inspiration. You are getting inspired by certain topics and you feel that it has to be shared. It has got some value. Third thing is that you are reflecting on whatever inspired you. For example, if an idea really struck you or it has really made a change in your life and you want to reflect that idea, I believe those are the speeches that you are going to leave with. Because the one which you make to impress others will die down after a contest or after delivering it. The other, you are getting inspired, you feel that people will be inspired, it's a topic to get inspired. It's not actually, you are not getting inspired by that at some certain point of time. And on the third is where you yourself got inspired. And you can, if you are able to reflect that into a speech, then what will happen is that you will live your speech. I am telling this one because from 2019, I am living my speech of comfort zone. Because every move I make it sure that I am extending my comfort zone. I'm going from one comfortable thing to the other comfortable thing. I don't want to run out of my comfort zone. And I don't believe that there is nothing grows in comfort zone. Comfort zone is where you are comfortable. You have earned it all through your life with all your efforts, you're getting appreciated in your comfort zone. Extend your comfort zone. So like that, if you can make your speeches that reflects your philosophy or your thoughts or your belief, then you are making the best speeches. So your inspiration can come from anywhere. For me, when I started Toastmasters, one inspiration which came to me was in Infinite Thoughts. I don't know that Mahito. I believe Mahito is the person. I believe earlier it was known as Frozen Thoughts. Frozen Thoughts. That book has changed its name to Infinite Thoughts. Infinite Thoughts was one book that can inspire you. It has got a lot of small thoughts. And if you get hold of this book, Infinite Thought, Frozen Thoughts, even if you get the old issues, just go to read through that one. You get a lot of ideas. And there are certain ideas initially when I started speaking, those books actually helped me. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM. Toastmaster Abhishek, the same question goes to you. When you write a speech, you think about an idea and then frame the story, or you have a story and then try to fit the idea or the message into it? How do you work on your speeches?
I think it can be both way around. There is no one formula at all to say. For example, my final speech about the cards, if you have seen, was an incident that actually occurred when I was at Mumbai International Airport in the year 2018. There was no value what's happening. It was only after, in a table topic while practicing, when Toastmaster Kapil asked me a question, the most memorable moment, in that somehow this moment came up, which was somewhere hidden with layers of memories. And then we asked help from Nitin Sriraman and other mentors, and we framed it a good speech. So that was one thing. Another speech which I took up to write was about my grandfather. The value was on the small memories that is there with your grandparents. But for some reason, I was not able to cover the speech. I was not able to give it a correct structure to it. So I dropped it away. The next one was earlier one was based on actually an idea that we need to be there for the people. We should get away from canceling out each other because somebody blocks us. And especially in today's social media world, a block taken by somebody, if somebody blocks me, I take it personally, like, oh, I am getting blocked, so I need to block them. Why can't we reach out? Maybe they want our attention. So that was based on a philosophy. So there is, for me, there is no one fit rule all. If a story speaks to me, I have courage, conviction enough to come up and talk about it. Certain time it's just a story. There's not much takeaway. And certain time there must be a huge philosophy hidden within it. So I think for me, it is, I don't go by any one thing. A story comes to me, but most importantly, it should be my story. As DTM Sriraman said, that genuinity should be there. It should be original. Little bit, because of the speech, you might want to add a little bit of tweaks here and there. You might want to add a little bit of tweaks here and there. Just what happened? Sorry, is there a disturbance, Meena?
Yeah.
Sorry, is it
No.
okay now? Is it okay?
Yeah, no. Okay.
Me and Preeti brought the headset from the same guy. So it is the issue with the headset guy. Same headset. So what I wanted to say, I'll hold this one. So what I wanted to say is there is no one tailor-made formula, I think, for me, whatever comes to the story, but the story should speak to me. Story should inspire me as in a speaker to share it with other people. Sometimes it's a very short story. It's nothing big. So the challenge is how to make it a 5 to 7 minute speech. Sometimes the story is too big. How to make it small to fit into 5 to 7 minutes. But at the end of the day, we got to decide how we want to go. But ideally not to have a formula in place. Take upon the situation. It inspires you. It brings tear to your eyes. If it brings tear to your eyes, definitely can move people and audience. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster Meena.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek. So to sum it up for this particular question, I can say that you can take inspiration from anywhere you want, but ideally, if it reflects what you believe in, your speeches stand stronger, your words stand strong, and you can very much deliver it with much conviction. I hope that's exactly what our panelists wanted to say. Okay, so with that, we have ended up the 2 round sessions of questions. Now, I would love to have a rapid fire round with our DTMs and Toastmaster Abhishek. So are you ready, sir? Let's start for... Let's start because DTM Saiju is very much like, so let me just call him first for a change this time. Just few
Okay.
questions, sir.
Hmm.
What was your first speech title? The first ever
Live,
speech that you gave in Toastmasters?
living is experimenting.
Yes, experiment. Okay. When you realize that you can do much better than this, specifically in Toastmasters?
After 3 years after joining Toastmasters.
Who inspired you in this Toastmasters journey?
G. Ramesh, Gopal and Ramesh, DTM.
And who was your first mentor?
DTM G. Ramesh.
Thank you so much. And I would really want to know what's your favorite book? Because I know
My
you read a lot.
favorite book would be the works of Khalil Gibran.
Thank you so much, sir. Next is our DTM Sri Raman, sir. Same questions, but in a different order. Your favorite book, sir?
It's very difficult. So
Very-
many books.
That's not the book.
What got you here won't get you there by Marshall Goldsmith.
Okay. Your first mentor?
First mentor Rizwan Jaldeen. He's in Sri Lanka now.
Who inspired you the most in the Toastmasters journey?
There are many, but one who ranks among the top is Dr. Rajan Phillips. He's in Kerala now.
Your speech title for your first ever speech?
Celebrations galore.
Celebrations?
Celebrations galore.
Okay.
It was about my village and the celebrations, the village where I was born. How we celebrate everything that happens there.
And when did you realize that you can do much more than what you are doing right now?
I have not realized. I'm still discovering whether I can do more than what I'm doing. Yeah, but 2018 was the one year when I initially submitted my nomination for division director position that I thought I've had enough of backing up people as leaders, and then I should lead a team and tell myself that, yeah, I can be a leader. 2018 was a realization. But the actual realization happened when I joined Toastmasters and I headed the annual day festivities of our company in 2008, September, October, somewhere around that, after joining Toastmasters in May 2008. So 2 steps, 2 phases.
Thank you, sir. Next is our Toastmaster Abhishek.
Yeah, now it's audible or is still clunk clunk sound is coming?
No, very much audible.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So who was your first mentor?
Toastmaster Ambu Jackson
And who inspired you the most?
in the Toastmasters, right?
Yeah.
DTM Nanda Kumar.
Okay. What's your first speech title?
This is me. Icebreaker.
Okay. And what's your favorite book?
Oh, The Old Man and the Sea. The Old Man and the Sea.
By?
Ernest Hemingway.
Okay. When did you realize that I can do still better than this?
I didn't get your question. What is it?
When did you realize that I can do much better than this, specifically in Toastmasters?
When did I realize that I can be better than this? I think in this year's contest, after DTech contest, I realized I can still be better than this anytime.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, panelists, for your wonderful time and contribution. To sum up the whole session, this was my small effort. Since we have a lot of new Toastmasters coming in, I wanted to share how and what happens in Toastmasters, especially about the speech craft. How can you prepare? Where you want to? Is the delivery part important, or is the speech part that is important? So that is what I wanted to tell them, and I hope the message has been delivered to them in the most best way possible. Right now, I really like to thank Toastmaster Abhishek for giving me this opportunity to conduct the panel discussion as my level 5 project. And a very big thanks to DTM Sri Raman sir and DTM Saiju Victor for accepting it and being there. I'm sure there are a lot of hiccups that has gone through. I would really like to have your evaluation on it. And thanks to Toastmaster Gokul for being the timer today. And all the audience, I would like to ask, if you have any questions, please put up there. We will ask the panelists. Do you have any questions? Toastmaster Kapil, you can just unmute and ask. Well,
Okay, good evening, panelists. My question is actually two parts. In a humorous speech, when we deliver, we normally give pauses for the joke to be understood and to understand the reaction of the audience. Then we proceed further. Is that pause, especially in an online scenario, which is happening now, is that pause necessary? Because you may not see the audience face to face in a humorous contest. And also, I notice that in a humorous speech, people tend to give a message at the end. Is that mandatory, or is it just to ensure that we are following a kind of a tradition? Yes, sir.
I am trying to experiment this on coming Monday because I am doing it the extreme way. I am trying for a tall tale speech because I wanted to experiment this, because tall tale is something wherein you do a lot of gestures, this one, and you ham a bit. So this is where just I wanted to know, because I feel that when I pause there, though I don't get any reaction, I will get a feeling that somebody is laughing or somebody is reacting to me. So I am trying to, because I forcefully took up a role in our 300 session is coming. So I said that they were telling that something humorous, something should be there. And I said that I will do the tall tale. This is a concern. I just wanted to experiment, just to feel it. So we will have to experiment and find it out. Thank you.
Am I permitted to add?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's a small deviation there. We take that pause for people to absorb. Now, if as a speaker, if you wait for the reaction, then you are also letting yourself affected by the reaction. Supposing a joke falls flat, then you're stuck. So ideally, I would like you to believe sincerely in what you're saying, enjoy yourself, and then not let the reaction affect you. Okay. We all talk about visualization technique, and it cannot be, the importance of that cannot be said more better in an environment where we are dealing with online situation. So we have to visualize that we are cracking a joke, we are humorous, and people are enjoying it, and then move forward. Okay, and that's one of the things that I believe in, that if you believe in what you're saying, if you bring original, first of all, you don't have to remember a lot. Second, you can speak with conviction. Abhishek was there when I spoke about Franco Baresi. Half the guys in the hall did not know Franco Baresi. But the passion with which I spoke would have convinced the audience that this guy was a greater footballer than Maradona. And he was actually, because he was a defender, he was not known.
Yes.
But if you Google Franco Baresi today, after listening to me, you will realize the significance of that man's contribution to Italian football.
I Googled, I heard the speech.
Yeah, so I was convinced that I'm going to speak about the greatest footballer of all time. I was not going to compare with Diego Maradona or Pele or something. I was going to concentrate on Franco Baresi, went with that full blast, did not think about what the audience will think. You pick up the topic based on the audience, but you perform as if the audience is, immaterial to your speech. Because then if you leave it to your audience reaction, you're letting yourself affected by the reaction.
I'm still waiting. Why a message in a humorous speech?
I'm not particularly a fan of message in humorous speeches. In fact, I was very disappointed in the DTAC speeches when you then tend to give it a tone of motivational message. And it'll be a tragedy if we have to laugh at the motivational speech and then sit seriously and listen to a humorous speech. I'm not a great fan. It says, the manual says it has to be thematic. It should not be a series of collection of jokes. It should be thematic. So it should follow a pattern, but not necessarily a message. If there is a message in that, automatically, by default, yes. But you don't have to put in a message saying that, yeah, because Chari was nasty, I have to be kind to him. No. As long as you're not sarcastic, you're not insulting, humorous speech is a humorous speech. It's humor value.
We have one more question by Toastmaster Resh. She wants to know what is resources and is there any method to find our own resources? And this question is directed to DTM Saiju.
Okay. Resources, as I told you, that these kinds of books, like Frozen Thoughts, Infinite Thoughts, these can actually trigger good topics in your mind. So it will actually the articles on that book is all about our life, how you are facing problems, how you are finding solutions for it. So certainly you will start relating with the incidents that happened in your life. Then these will act as triggers that can in fact bring more speeches into your life. You will have certain speeches where you will get inspired to write speeches. That is the best thing what I have seen, because even though we say that we have to even I tried reading many other books, but I feel still now Frozen Thoughts or the Infinite Thoughts, they are the best. They actually make you think about your life. That is the best thing. So try reading books about, and there is one more writer, maybe DTM Sriraman Vadiyar would be able to help us. What was his name? Some Panikkar. He writes a lot about cricket.
Prem Panikkar.
Not Prem Panikkar, one more. I had his 2 books. I forgot his name. Those are all anecdotes. And every anecdote will have some message in it. I will share that book. Okay. I forgot the name of the author.
Cricket and Panikkar, I know only Prem Panikkar. He was a founder of.
He is a Mumbai-based writer. He was in the advertising industry only. Then he wrote 2 books. I forgot his name. So during my they are actually I will anyhow I'll share it with one of you.
Okay, great.
Sir, are you talking about Prakash Iyer?
Prakash Iyer. Sorry.
The 2 books he has written. Yeah,
2
Prakash
books he
Iyer.
has written. What is that? One was about habits.
One is on leadership. Latest one. The earlier one was on this stories of the Bamboo Train. All the story collection is there.
All those stories should be there.
Yes, I forgot the Untold or something. I forgot. Yes.
Prakash Iyer, not Panikkar. Sorry, Iyer.
The Habit of Winning. The first book. The Habit of Winning.
The Habit of. Okay. So those kind of books, but those are very stories which are very common, but still it's good. When you start speaking or when you start writing, that will surely help you.
But resources, if I may ask, Resh, resources in what sense? For your speeches or?
No, actually, I was thinking not only about the speeches also, for even writing, as of writing also. There's actually what is in only books, or is there a method that, okay, everyone will be having their own genuine resources inside, but it is very difficult for others to point out. Is there any method to find out, or to just to identify ourselves that, okay, this can be your own resource. You can use this one for your speech crafting or writing. So is there any method? Maybe because
Yeah, I can suggest 2 things.
Okay.
One is to look around you. I will come to that later. That's the second part. The first part is look up for something called Johari Window. Johari, Johari Window. It's a book on identifying oneself. There are 4 quadrants where things are known to you, not known to people. Things are known to you and known to people. There is one quadrant blind, which is blind, not known to you, not known to people. How do you translate your this blind spot into known spot quadrant? Is the exercise. It will give you the framework for exercising, but the exercise will have to be done with life experiment. And the second part that I said I will talk later was, we had a visitor in your house. Abhishek was saying somebody was disturbing him. If you want to talk about, for example, if you were to talk about a non-challenge in life, if you want to be nonchalant, not to be oblivious to what is happening around you, go about doing your work, you take that cat as an example. Does the cat know what Abhishek is doing? Does the cat think about the seriousness of what is happening here? It just goes about doing its business. So you take cat as a metaphor for talking about focusing on what you have to do instead of what people will think. You have a resource in the form of cat there.
Thank you, sir. And we have one more question.
One more thing I just wanted to tell you, because very, very interesting one. All of you would have access to torrent. So try downloading there will be bundles of magazines. So if you want to think differently, there will be a lot of foreign magazines which will be available. Just try it out, those magazines. You will, the writers, their culture, their writing style, everything will be different. Those books may not be the best books, but for reference, you can always go and you can, it will actually, it's like forcing you to think differently. That is one thing. If we feel that sometimes in our life, we feel that I don't get any topics, I'm not getting any things to write or to think or speak. At that time, these kind of books or magazines can really help you. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, sir. So one last question we'll take, and that's Toastmaster Aude. Can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Thank you very much. Good evening, panelists. I have this question. Toastmasters is all about preparing ourselves for outside world, how we can better ourselves as communicator and leader. Now, if I have to go and present a speech to outside audience, first thing is knowing the audience is, of course, that is the main thing. But how much should we talk on a subject? For example, we are given 15 minutes. How much of that time should be based on the subject?
To me, it's a very tricky question. I believe you should go prepared and go there, and how much time you are taking to familiarize with them and they are comfortable of receiving your message, then only you start. Otherwise, what will happen is that even if you start putting your messages from the beginning, what will happen is that there will be a total disconnect between you and the audience. This is my personal experience and personal belief, because I used to go and practice in front of school children for my international speech. So initially, when I went there, I went there and started speaking. Then I realized that it's not like that. They have to be very comfortable. Then only I can deliver the speech. So I used to give them a prologue and all. Then I would say that I have one speech. Then I used to. So that will get accepted. This is my formula. Different people will have different formulas. Okay.
Thank you so much. With that, I end up the panel discussion session. And I once again like to thank our DTM Sriraman, DTM Saiju, and Toastmaster Abhishek for very enthusiastically participating in this panel discussion and giving a lot of insights and helping us through various questions. We still have a lot of questions. I'll forward all those to you and you can send the replies to us. Thank you so much.